What's going on, everyone? It is me, Nevin Xavier here. Today we are going to talk about the Fujifilm XT4 camera from a wedding photographer and a filmmaker's point of view. So I bought this camera around 4 months ago. I shot a bunch of weddings, both photo and video with it. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with what this small camera is capable of doing. And I would like to share my experience, what I like about this camera, what I don't like about this camera. It's mostly positive things, but there are a few things I wish was a little bit better. Before we do that, I will show you some example shots of what I shot with the XT4, some photos and videos, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Feet are on the dashboard, my eyes on the road. I always knew I'd get here, I just thought I'd be alone. Trees tie the skyline, the sun is on the run. There's no turning back now, this love has just begun. And I've never been so sure of anything. High above the mountains, far across the sea, carving out a canyon, destroying me. Reasons for my wonder, the run I'll never reach. I've been in the trenches, bombs been going off, arms on wire fences, prayers for it to stop. When I saw you standing there under the stars, I knew it wouldn't be the last time. Scrolling through the memories of when we began, I couldn't find a single regret. When I saw you in the morning light, I just held my place, and it goes with a little time. Forgive our memories, grace. We were choosing opportunity over wrong and right. Was a target worth the vanity?
Alright, welcome back, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the photos and videos. So alright, now let's talk about my setup, what I use, how I use the XT4. So right now I'm using the Fringer Pro 2 adapter with it, with the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8 lens, which is exactly what I'm using right now with the XT3. And I have recently updated the firmware, so I'm guessing the autofocus is better than how it used to be. I'm currently shooting a 4K 24. It's on eye tracking, so I'm guessing it is tracking me properly now. Yeah, it is. Alright guys, so let's talk about the pros of this camera. From a wedding filmmaker's point of view, this camera got one of the most beautiful image quality I ever seen, especially the colors that's coming out straight from the camera, the 4K 60, 4K 24, it is just so beautiful. I usually shoot with the baked in film profile, Astia Soft. It just, it doesn't even have to color grade it, it just looks so beautiful. I will show you some of the examples so you decide for yourself. These are completely ungraded Astia Soft. I think for these shots I used Metacon 35 f/0.95 lens, and some of these shots were shot with the 85 1.8, some with the Sigma 18 to 35 1.8 lens. So like getting good color straight off camera is very important, especially when it comes to weddings. You don't really have much time to color grade, or everything is very run and gun stuff. This is where this camera excels, and I absolutely love the colors coming out of it. And secondly, the in-body stabilization. This was one of the things I hated about the XT3. I really loved the colors. It's pretty much the same as the XT4, but the only thing that was missing was the IBIS, which Fujifilm, Fujifilm fixed with the XT4, which I'm really happy about. I'm someone who usually shoot handheld, so for me this is one of the best add-ons, and I totally love it. It is not that great for walking shots, especially if you are walking with the bride and groom. It is not the best to shoot a walking shot, but you can get away, especially if you shoot 4K 60 or sometimes even shooting 120 FPS. You can get away with some of the shakes if you slow down the clips. So that's one way to avoid using gimbals and still get some nice smooth walking shots. But I wouldn't recommend it unless you really don't have time to pull up a gimbal and just do the shot. I've done it quite a few times because during the weddings sometimes you're shooting solo and there is no time for setting up a gimbal, and sometimes the gimbals doesn't balance properly. So having a IBIS is really handy. But my favorite use for IBIS is especially when it comes to bride or groom preparation. I can just hand hold it, I can just move around, especially when I shoot with the 18 to 35 1.8 lens. I can get I can get like a wide perspective and a medium perspective, and I can move in quickly and all that. It's so easy. So for me, these are the main two functions that really stand out: the IBIS and the colors coming out of this camera. Other than that, I think the value of this camera is so good. At £1,500, sometimes I can even pick one up for £1,100 in UK these days. So that is incredible value for such a small camera with 4K 60, in-body stabilization, great colors, and talking about the photography side, it's beautiful. It's so good. Like you can even shoot 15 FPS, which I rarely shoot. The maximum I go for is like 7 FPS, and incredible autofocus. It's such a great camera. If you're coming from the XT3, you will definitely be happy with the new battery. I usually use around 3 batteries for a wedding day, full wedding day, sometimes even 4, because I'm mostly using the in-body stabilization and 4K 60, so it is a bit too much for the battery. But 3 batteries pretty much good enough. I really never found any issues like overheating or anything like that. But there are few instances the camera completely froze, which was a bit annoying, but all I had to do is just pull up the battery and just put it back in, and it was fine. But I'm just thinking if that happened during like a very crucial time during the wedding, and if I'm the only shooter, then that is a trouble. But This is very few instances, so I don't think it's I'm not sure if what caused that. I never got any warnings on the screen or anything, so that's something you need to keep that in mind. Other than that, I don't really have any complaints. I'm really happy with the Fujifilm X-T4 ecosystem, especially with the Finger Pro 2 adapter. I'm really happy as the autofocus is on that is so good. I can finally use the 18 to 35 lens. Fuji doesn't really have any lens that match that quality. I mean, it does have the 16 to 55 2.8 lens, but when it comes to APS-C sensors, 2.8 is just not good enough for wedding scenarios. So 1.8, it's such a lifesaver. Right, so I just want to talk to you guys. Who is this camera for? And do I recommend it? I mean, I will definitely recommend this camera if you are starting out a wedding company or if you are starting to shoot weddings. I mean, it doesn't have to be weddings, but anything like to travel or fashion or whatever, it can do the job. But since I am a wedding filmmaker and photographer, I can definitely recommend this camera. I know wedding industry, everyone used the full frame cameras like Canon, Sony or whatever. To be honest, I never really found it as a limitation. As long as you light up your scene and everything, APS-C, it is good enough. But there are a few situations, especially when it comes to reception, when there is, when you have your limitation to light up the scene. That is when a full frame camera excels, that's for sure. But this year I haven't really shot much receptions, mostly because most of the weddings were like COVID weddings, so everything is so limited. There is only 30 people and sometimes even 15 people, so I haven't really tested out the low light capabilities of the X-T4, but I'm sure if you have like the proper lighting setup and everything, it still works fine. There was one time I did come into a small issue with the camera. I mean, it's got nothing to do with the camera, to be honest. I think it is to do with the light frequency and everything. So some of the footages I shot, I will show you these footages. I was really excited to get these footages, but once I played them back, there was a lot of flickering. This is mostly because I shot everything at 4K 60 and my shutter speed was around 1:125. So I didn't realize it until like maybe half an hour during the shoot. That's when I started to play back the videos, and I saw the flickering. So this is something to keep in mind. So maybe don't shoot 4K 60, or even if you're shooting 4K 60, maybe bring down the ISO to 1/60 or something. Flickering usually happens when you use a high frame rate, so that's something to keep that in mind. So after the incident, every time I shoot something, I make sure I play that before I go ahead. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. So who is this camera for? I mean, it's for 1,500 pounds. What you're getting is a powerful 4K camera, can shoot 4K 60, beautiful pictures, like really fast pictures. You can shoot a proper wedding with it. I still shoot photos with the X-T4 and X-T3. These are the cameras I mainly shoot for photos, and I'm really happy with what I'm getting. I never found it as just because it's a APS-C camera, I never found it as something. I don't think it is a limitation, especially if you have the skills, if you have the right glass, you can get beautiful pictures. With such a good price point, you really can't go wrong. You can have a good wedding photography kit for, let's say, 2,500 British pounds or even 3,000 pounds. You can have like a really good set of glasses. You can even invest in some mics or some lights and stuff. So yeah, this is what I have to talk about the X-T4. I haven't really traveled with it, so I can't talk to you about how good it is for traveling, but I'm sure I've used the X-T3 quite a lot for traveling, and I love it. So X-T4 definitely will be better than X-T3. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you stick around till the end of the video, please do like the video and hit that subscribe button. It will help my channel to grow, and I really hope to create more contents, not just about X-T4, but any cameras and lenses. If you have any suggestions, please do leave a comment. And yeah, once again, thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.